Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute. Definitely was supposed to drop triggers part 3 and 4 within the past couple months, but I didn't. I don't know, I just kind of started feeling like I don't know if people are really paying attention to this or are really into it. But then it's like there are people who were watching that series and who were taking something from it, and so I kind of owe it to them to finish that series. I kind of owe it to myself to finish that series. So I was thinking about maybe combining part 3 and 4 and just making it one small video to conclude the series. But today I wanted to come back and do a quick little video on how to cope with anxiety and depression in light of Mental Health Awareness Month, and just kind of share what are the few things that I do or I have learned to do to help me cope when I am dealing with my depression and my anxiety. So some of you are frequent viewers and readers of my mental health blog, and to those of you who are unaware, I do have a blog by the name of Amanla, and there I kind of share my mental health journey through poetry, through prose, through writing, and similar videos like the ones that are present on my channel right now. So if you didn't know that, definitely click the link in the description below and check it out and join my mailing list. I would love that. And for those of you who are familiar with my blog, you may be familiar with the video that I posted at the very beginning of my launch called Diagnosed But Not Defined. And there I partnered with Ricky's Compass and kind of talked about what my diagnosis is and how that doesn't define who I am. If you are unfamiliar with that video, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I did show signs of post-traumatic symptoms. And that was about 3 years ago. And so within that time span, I've kind of gathered a bunch of coping methods, practices, and techniques that kind of help me get through episodes of depression, or when I'm feeling anxious, or when I'm triggered by certain things that kind of provoke trauma. I've just sort of gathered and put them all in a basket, and from that basket I kind of pick and choose what I want to use in a time of need where, again, I am experiencing depression, or I feel anxious, or I'm triggered by something. And so I just kind of wanted to come on here and share some of those things that kind of help me get through those things as of right now. I know I seem very peppy and upbeat right now, but that is one of my greatest skills, putting on a face and acting like everything is okay. When just yesterday I had a really hard day and I spent most of my day sleeping and in bed and watching reruns and crying because I just didn't feel okay. But today I made a conscious decision to get up, to make this video, and not dwell in whatever it is that I was feeling. And it took years. It took years for me to even get to that point where I can have a conversation with myself and say, you know what, today is going to be different. There were times where I would wallow and I would stay in that funk and I didn't know what to do. But, you know, I've now come to a place where I can, you know, have that conversation with myself and, you know, take those different coping mechanisms and strategies and practices and kind of pick at which one is going to help me feel better today. Let's get into it. So one of the key things I've learned to do when I find myself experiencing another cycle of depression or feeling anxious or triggered by something is to get up and move. So like I mentioned earlier, this morning I set an intention to get up and not remain in the funk that I was in yesterday. And getting up and moving is something that you should do at your own pace, at your own comfort, and it's something that you set the requirements and you set the expectation of. It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be something too small. You set the rules, you set the tone of what getting up and moving looks like for you. For me, what I decided to do again this morning was get up and make the choice not to remain in the funk that I was in. And the first thing that I did was get up and do my skincare routine. I don't know, but ever since I found a product line that I liked and really got into this whole skincare thing, it's given me something to look forward to every single day. Like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna wash my face, and I'm gonna put on this moisturizer and this glow serum and have this amazing glow all day. And it just makes me feel good.
Yeah, you know, I just had a little bit too much of Hennessy. Just gonna tell you how I feel. Look, you so fucking precious when you smile.
Those of you curious as to what skincare line I'm using, I am using Urban Skin RX. One of the other things I did this morning was water my plant, and I'm gonna show you my plant. I named her Tapiwa, and I got her in August. Can you believe I've had her for almost a year and she is thriving? Look at how big she's getting. She was not this big. Look at all the stems and the leaves and just how rich her soil looks. I did not think this plant was going to survive. I definitely thought I was going to kill this plant. Like, I thought this plant was gonna die, but she's here. And every other day I get out of bed and I water her, and it's been part of my routine. Once again, since September, if I'm not here, I force my sister to water her and sing to her and talk to her. Yes, I do the most. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but like when you become a plant mom, they tell you to sing to your plant and even name it after yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I gave her my middle name, and when I talk to her with intention. I talk to her like I'm talking to myself. If I find myself feeling sad, I'll be like, hey Tapiwa, today I'm feeling sad. But you and I are gonna get through this. We're gonna grow, we're gonna blah blah blah, and whatever it is that I comes to my heart to say to her, that's exactly what I say. And it's been something that I have grown to really love. Who knew that I would be a plant mom and actually be good at it? Once again, it's up to you how big or small that act of movement is for you. Sometimes the most that I'll do is make my bed or do my laundry, and that's something that I put on my list today. So watch me make my bed and fold my laundry.
Let you know you're mine. Hands on your body, I don't wanna waste no time. Feels like forever, even if forever's
So all the things that I just shared mainly focus on getting up and moving, finding something that's going to get you out of bed, that's going to distract you for a significant amount of time, or that's just going to make you feel good, as I, place a lot of emphasis on. And then the next thing that I want to suggest is setting an intention. So you can set intentions by doing things like journaling and writing or reading. Those are some of the things where you're kind of in control of, or you're kind of allowing yourself the ability to be in control of your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. Journaling is something that I've been doing for a while now. I want to say the entire 3 years of therapy that I received. Journaling was one of the major strategies that I used. But however, I find that now with journaling, or what I used to do in the past with journaling, and I'm still working on getting out of the habit of, is when I do journal, I just kind of consciously journal. So I'm writing whatever it is that I am feeling in that moment. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I find that when you start doing that consistently, but not really setting an intention, it kind of ends up being a trap where you're wallowing in whatever it is that you're feeling. So obviously if I'm sad and I'm journaling, I'm going to write down those sad thoughts that I'm having. I'm going to write down those harmful thoughts that I'm having, and I'm going to continue to feel and continue to entertain those thoughts. But if I journal with an intention, I might shift my way of thinking a little bit. So if I'm sad, instead of writing about whatever it is that's making me sad, you can prompt yourself to write about something that makes you happy. When was the last time that you felt yourself? Or when was the last time that you felt happy? Because then you're rewiring your brain to make you think about not being sad. You get what I'm saying? So if you're feeling frustrated, write about a time when you felt free. It's just, challenging yourself. If nothing in life just seems to be going the way that you want it to go, write with gratitude. What are you thankful for? What are the opportunities in life that you've had that have brought you thus far? Like, setting an intention, like I said, rewires your way of thinking and just sets a new focus and doesn't keep you there. But like I said, there's sometimes you need to get those thoughts out. Sometimes it's better to write them down than to just keep them bundled up. So it really just depends on where you are and what you're in the mood to do. So if you feel like consciously writing, then consciously write. But if you don't want to feel whatever it is that is consuming you, then, you know, write with an intention. Another thing that I've been doing a lot is reading. If you saw my Instagram post this Wednesday, I mentioned some of these books like She's Strong But She's Tired by R.H. Sin. This is one of the realest and rawest poets I know. He just says things how he wants to and makes it very plain. It's deep, it's reflective, it's inviting, it's warm, it feels like a hug, his poems, and I just love that. Rupi Kaur, another Okar, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right or wrong, but she's also another real and raw poet, similar to R.H. Sin. It's just inviting, it's warm, it's the thoughts that you have in your head but you don't say out loud. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful poet. I also mentioned my friend's book, Ordinary. If you are an immigrant and, you know, you've watched your family grow and, you know, develop into the American culture and lifestyle, this is the book for you. It talks about her journey coming from Haiti and, you know, how that shaped who she is and how she's discovering herself through the experiences that she has been faced with. Is a beautiful book so far, and I would highly, highly recommend everybody to get this book. I have a little book of affirmations. Wow, I'm Laura Hippolyte. I have a little book of affirmations with a bunch of daily affirmations that sometimes I would just pick up and read one of them. A lot of my Happy Friday posts in my Instagram stories, I get the affirmations from here. So this is another way that I find I can uplift myself just really quickly throughout the day. Obviously, Triggers by David Richo. This book is but like I said in all my previous videos about this book, I highly recommend that everybody and their mother read this book. It has some real deep shit in it that will help you understand why you think the way that you think, why you react the way that you react, how to avoid being triggered, how to heal, really. Amazing book. And then the subtle art of not giving a fuck by Mark Manson. Amazing book. I just love authors who are real and raw and do not just stick to the generic formalities of writing. It just makes it boring, I think. I love when an author has a voice. Every single book that I've mentioned, all of these authors have a voice and you can hear it from the first page. One thing that I do when I'm looking for books, I read the first page. And I know this might sound a little crazy, but if I'm not intrigued by the first page, I can't get your book. If I can't hear your voice within the first few lines of the book, I can't read it. And then there's Am I There Yet by Mari Andrew, which is a book that kind of walks us through adulthood, and I think this book is so cute. It talks about relationships, love, adversity, finding your first job in your field, blah blah blah, just all the loops and all the hoops and loops in adulting that we are destined and bound to experience. And then there's this book called Sacred Self-Care, which my mom got me for my birthday. I've written about this book on my blog, and I've shared some of the meditation practices that are in here. And when I feel like meditating or just being mindful, this is a book that I turn to help me just kind of recenter and refocus. Beautiful book, Chloe Isadora, Sacred Heart. Sacred Self-Care, a must. Then there's this book called Building the Business of You by Connie Still, which is a book that I found last week in Barnes & Noble. Doesn't fall within the mental health category actually falls within the business category. And I don't know, I just found this book very timely as it falls into a period of my life where I'm just figuring shit out in terms of what I want to do and, you know, the path that I want to take and how I'm going to combine that with all my different interests. And that's exactly what it says it's going to help you do. And so, yeah, this definitely helps set the intention as it relates to where I want to be in life. So, you know, when you find books, you know, be intentional about it. Don't just pick one off the shelf. What is it going to help you do? What purpose is it going to serve? Will it be something that you can go back to and use as reference? You know, that's just kind of how I help myself when I'm picking these books. So yeah, if you're a reader, definitely check out all the books that I mentioned. They're awesome. I love them. And they're definitely books that I'm going to reread and reread and reread over and over and over and over and over again. Last but not least, my last suggestion is to simply ask for help. I know it's not easy to ask for help. I know it's not easy to open up and be vulnerable with people. It is still something that I continue to struggle with. It took me years and years and years to finally admit that I need help. And it took me some more years and years to get the help. But again, once I did, and I'm always going to say this, it changed my life. And if you're not comfortable with therapy or you're not there yet, you know, try finding somebody in your life who you know will listen to you, who will not have a voice of judgment, who will hear you and help you in your journey. And if you don't have that someone in your life, I'm going to insert a bunch of resources that I found and that have been circulating all over social media this month, as it is Mental Health Awareness Month. I also have a resource page on my blog. If you click the link in the description below, it will take you to my homepage. And if you scroll down the homepage, you will find a bunch of phone numbers, websites, and organizations that you can use to help you within your mental health journey. Thanks for watching this video all the way through if you did.
I'm so fucking happy you're alive. Yeah. I swear to God I'm down if you down. All you gotta say is